Hi, welcome to Rocket Print Software, the account manager for the store. If you're viewing this video, it's because you either have a 12-day trial or you're looking back at this to get some pointers on setting up certain products or your portals or that sort of thing. First off, we're very excited about you having this store because I know it's going to grow your online business. Manage your orders that are in the house with a workflow, processing orders, and giving your customers what they need, which is a way to order more printing from you. These tutorials will be broken down into segments, and they're really broken down into what your objectives should be with your web-to-print system. So you'll notice the bookmarks down below to the right. You can actually navigate to a specific area that you want to understand. And of course, we're always here to answer your questions. And we certainly want to give you some online training as well so you can ask questions and move forward. This is basically the initial setup tutorial for you. Let's look at what your main objectives will be. Your main objectives with your storefront will be to set up your B2C, business to consumer storefront, which is the retail store. The second objective will be to set up your B2B, your business-to-business portals. You may have a very specific focus right off the bat. You want to do both things. You want to set up a B2C storefront so that anybody in the country can find your website and order from you. You want to expand your territory. And the second thing is you want to build these customer portals, these B2B portals, to protect your existing customer base and provide for them an online store that they can order from you. So whether or not you're doing B2C or B2B, you're going to be doing the same thing over and over again. Really, you're going to be putting the categories and the products and your options to those products in place. And you're either going to put them into your retail store or you're going to put them into a portal. It's going to be that simple. You're going to be setting up categories, products, and options for those products in a portal or on your main store. That's what we're going to cover. So let's get started. Welcome to Rocket Print Software. Hi, and welcome back. Now we're going to look at how to set up your business to consumer or your B2C storefront. We consider that like your main storefront or a retail store. And you can, you actually, when you get your account manager, you'll have one open portal which will constitute two stores. So you get your main store and you can preview the main store here with this button, and then you'll have an open portal which will constitute a second retail store, which is nice. And then from there, you can build out as many B2B portals as you'd like. So by clicking on this button here, you can see your main store. So this is the main store outside of the confinements of any website. In other words, this is the iframe that is that runs your whole storefront. This iframe can be plugged into any website. And we also have a plug-in with our CMS program, and we can talk about that later, how you actually deliver this storefront to your customers. But the biggest difference between a B2C and a B2B store is that typically on your B2C stores, you have more options. So if we drill down to your 8.5 by 11 brochure, you'll see that you have a selection of color that you can choose from, or the user can choose from. You have quantity selections, and they can be whatever you want them to be. There's no set number that Rocket Print limits you to. You can put whatever types of quantity levels you want to. But you see there's paper options. And typically on a B2B, a portal, you don't have these paper options. So the biggest difference between the B2C and the B2B is that you'll have more options associated with this particular product that your customer can choose from. And so we'll look at the B2B side as well. There can be options to business products like shrink wrapping or boxing if you're talking about business cards. But Overall, you have paper selections for your B2C, and then you'll have other types of options here for your B2C. What does all this mean? So we have an 8.5 by 11 brochure. We have some quantities here, paper selections, and we have options. So let's go back to the admin area and see how that all ties in when you build it out. So back in your admin area, you have this array of links, which we can talk about in another tutorial. But where we want to go is your Format To area. Your Format To area is where you're going to be putting categories, products, and the options to those products in place. And they're either going to go into your main store, as you see here, or you're going to go into one of your portals that you've set up or are going to set up. So very simply, you are going to concentrate here in the Format To area in your categories, products, and libraries. I'm going to begin by going to the libraries because that's one of the last things that you do when you're setting up a product, when you assign these libraries to this product. So I'm going to go here into the library area, and let's look at this for a moment. Basically, your libraries is an index of all of your paper and all of your options. So going to the library will take you to kind of the hub or the index of all of your papers and all of your options. Your papers will be here in your Manage Paper Library, and we'll click there in a moment. And then your options can be chosen out of this drop-down list. So you'll see your options and how you form your options there. And all of your options for your products will be listed down here. See, it says library name and then the type. Here in our library areas, we have our paper library and our options to our products. Let's go into our paper library because that's the first thing we want to do for our B2C side, because in looking at our papers, we're going to make these papers available for the products that we're going to offer on the store, on the B2C store. And as I said before, typically you don't use your paper library for portal products, your B2B products, because, well, your customer knows that it's going to be printed on a certain paper, and you know that it's going to be printed on a certain paper. So there's no reason to set up a paper library for that product just to have the user choose a paper, because they don't need to do that a lot of times. And we'll look at that too on the B2B side. But here in the paper library, you're going to just simply list out all of the papers that you may want to offer on your storefront. So for instance, you have 100-pound gloss text paper, and you're thinking to put this on your offset press, your 1925. This is your press sheet size. The cost of this paper is going to be $58 1,000 sheets, and you may have a markup on it, and of course a weight per 1,000 sheets. You will list out in order, and it's a lot of times in the paper library it's really nice to have all of your press sheet sizes done first, and then maybe go to your 12 by 18. You see how we have the 1925 and the 20 by 26 laid out on the demo store. That's a good way to do it because it kind of keeps these papers organized per press sheet size. The storefront does come with a number of papers. You can make adjustments to those papers. You can change the name. You can modify the cost per 1,000 or the markup, anything you need to do there, and simply update that paper. So once you have your papers in place and the papers that you're going to be offering for your brochures, your postcards, your business cards, everything on your B2C, your business to consumer side, then that's great. You just put those in your paper library. We'll see here in a moment how those papers are going to get applied to our products. But for right now, all we're doing is just listing out the index of papers that we're going to offer for our business to consumer side. Then we'll look at our options. What options do you offer with your products? Brochures may have folds, bifolds, trifolds, Z folds. Business cards may have UV coating, rounded corners, things of that nature. So what we want to do is set up this library of options. This is, of course, according to the B2C side. You may have some options for your B2B products as well, like boxing or shrink wrapping, whatever that may be. But how we discern what we want to do here is just simply name a new library as you want it to appear on the storefront. So whatever that's going to indicate to you and your customers, we're going to put that on there. Like, for instance, finishing options. Let's choose some of these and look at this. Actually, let's do finishing options. We'll look at the checkbox and we'll click on checkbox options. This is what it looks like inside one of the libraries, inside the finishing option library. It has listed out here the description of those libraries: 3-hole drill, fold, bifold, trifold, and then it has a cost associated with that library item, like $15 for make ready. In other words, if you got to pull out your folding machine, how long does it take to get it set up? That's your make ready cost, $15. And then you may have $12 per thousand to do those folds. You can also list out these library options in a range. So if I click on range, we can see we can give the customer a little discount depending on how many we have to do for them. So these are the finishing options in your library and how they list out. You can list as many items in a library as you need to. And don't worry that you group them necessarily all in the correct. Finishing options can mean a lot of things. And just because you group a lot of these things in finishing options, in a little bit it'll make sense to you, because after you put together a product, then you're going to assign whatever options there are for that product, whether they're in the folding options or whatever type of library they're in. Okay, to understand what these options are, you roll your cursor over this question mark and it will define for you the various library options. This is one thing that makes Rocket so robust, is because you can basically quote out any types of products that you may want to offer it through your options, through the product itself, and through these library options. So you'll name a library option here, and then you'll choose what type you want it to be. And we also have the wide format options. So you may have UV coatings for your banners. You want to price those out in a square foot method. You don't want to have it per each or per thousand. So this is where your wide format options come into play. Okay. So if there's any questions about the library, certainly contact us. Let us, there may be certain library options that you want to put into place and you're not really sure if they should be checkbox or drop down, or just how you should cost those out, price those out. So certainly contact us. That's what we're here for on the technical side. So now that we have our libraries in place for our paper library and for the options that we're going to offer for our B2C side, let's look at our categories. Categories are simply a name that on the navigation of the storefront. So brochures are there, business cards are there, and we can set up as many categories as we need to. We can assign them into a certain portal if we want to. So if I look at my Primo Water portal, you see my categories are a little different. If I go to another portal, may have 2 categories that are assigned to that portal. So what we want to concentrate on is our main store. So we'll look at all the categories that we have here in the demo store. We can add more categories if we want to. If we wanted to add a category, simply click on that add category. It's going to be assigned here to this category, the main store. We can name it here. This is our name for our category. Categories also do not necessarily need a text link in the store. Typically on a storefront, your B2C store, you will put text links, but maybe in a portal, you would put an image link, which is kind of nice. And we can show you some examples of how these portals have been constructed with an image rollover link as opposed to a text link. There too, if you're setting up your B2C categories or your B2B categories, you're going to be doing the same thing over and over. You're going to be seeing this page over and over again. So in this particular instance, it's your main store, but it could just as well be one of the portals, and it's still the same page. So let's look at what's on the category area here, category page. So we would name it. We would maybe give it a nickname, because sometimes you might have brochures going under a portal and under your main store. So you want to say maybe, let's say this is our brochures, which we already have that, but that's not a problem. We can do another. And this is brochures for the main store, just so we know. We can put it onto a parent category, or we can name more parent categories. So what does a parent category look like? And if we go over to our preview of our store, which I encourage you keeping that open, you can see here is our brochures. Here's a parent category, digital products. And here are the categories underneath digital products. So that's all the parent category is. It kind of segregates your categories. Okay, go back. Don't necessarily need a parent category. We've given it a nickname. These descriptions, this description will be if you're not using our WordPress system, and it will show up here like we see here, this banners and whatever content you'd like to put in there as a description. Also, we have a plugin with WordPress with our CMS program. So you can name this title. This is all as a description in the sliders of the WordPress system. We can go into that a little later, but you have 3 different description boxes that you can utilize for that. And you also have a hero picture here for our WordPress system. Also, here we're going to just simply choose how the category page is going to lay out with our products. You can either have it in grid form like this, or you can have it listed down the page. So if you uncheck this, maybe we drill back over to some of these other products, how products are laid out on the demo store down the page like this. And here is how products are laid out in a grid form like this. And these grids can be modified as far as color is concerned. So that's what the that's what this grid layout is for. You can also hide this until you get it ready to go, this category. And once you've done that, you just simply save it. And you can actually sort through your categories here in your sorting area, but you would just save that category that you've just built, and it will end up here like this: brochures, brochure main. And so that's where it is. Our next step is adding the products to that category. Very simply. Just a little review. We've looked at our library options for our B2C side, and we've looked at our categories and putting a category in there. Now let's look at adding a product. Hi, welcome back. We have been reviewing setting up categories, products, and library options. And now we want to look at products. We've looked at libraries and what they were. Libraries are the options, either the paper options or the other options for your products. So you can't have a product really without a category with Rocketprint. The categories are a name, a description, and then the products go in instead with that. So let's look at setting up products. And this is going to be the fun part, because this is where everything takes place. This is where you put the products on your main storefront or in a portal. And so what we're going to do is drill down into a category. Remember, we need a category before we set up a product. So we'll drill down into our brochures that we had set up and click there. So there are no products here in my brochure category. Just looking at this, I can filter these things also by, I can filter my categories by the main store or the portals. If I go into my portal, I can look at that and drill down to the business cards in that portal. So it's very simple the way it's laid out. Filter products by customer portals or the main, and you can choose which one you want to look at, which category. Okay, we're not going to talk about user groups right here, but we will later on. We're in the main store in the category brochures. Now we're going to add a product very simply. Now I encourage you to get in here and just create products. You can delete them. It's not a big deal. It's going to take just a few minutes to set up some products and see what the pricing structure is and how they operate. So I say pricing structure. What in the world's that? So I'll show you. Let's just name this our 8.5 by 11 brochure and spell it correctly here. Brochures. Name it whatever you need to. That's your product. We're on our product page. This is the first page of 3. First page of 3 in setting up a product. And you'll do this every time. You do this over and over again. This is all you do. And you're just assigning these products into a category or into a portal. Let's just continue right down the page before we incorporate any of these other types of functions like data merge item, the SKU number, download only. What do those things mean? Static file. What are those? Let's before we touch on that, it's kind of elementary. Let's really just understand how to set up a product. So we're going to name this product and we're going to scroll right on past the description boxes right down to the bottom here where we can get to the actual, scroll on down here. We want to get right down to the actual price structure of this product. This is the main part of it. All this other stuff is easy. If you need approvals or approver processes in here, that's one thing. That's typically for your portals. It won't be for your B2C. There's no one going to approve orders from your business to consumer site. You're typically not going to track inventory for those products. You will upload a JPEG to represent that product, of course, and we have images that you can use in the meanwhile while you're getting together your own internal images. And there's other types of functions here, but this is the main part, our pricing structure. How does the pricing structure affect my product? The pricing structure can come in 4 different ways. It can come as a fixed quantity. I'll do the drop down here. Fixed quantities, dynamic pricing, per each range, wide format, either in linear or square foot method. So you're going to, as I keep reiterating, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over as you build out your products. So the big question is, how are we going to price out these 8.5 by 11 brochures? Typically, it's fixed quantities. If you have fixed quantities, you can choose what those fixed quantities are, but it runs in increments like 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 and on, or 250 to 500 and 750, 1,000, 1,200, however you want to run it. And you can run it all the way up from 50 to 100,000 if you want to, or more. So you can price out these products any way you want to. You just need to select here, fixed quantities, dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is a way that you can enter a minimum and a maximum number, and your customer can get a quote for anything in between those two numbers. It's typically used for presentation folders, sometimes for booklets or catalogs. It's a way that your customer can enter the number that they want. So you won't necessarily do that for business cards because you don't want someone ordering 3,721 business cards. You want to have increments of certain increments there for business cards. Fixed quantities, dynamic, per each range. Per each range is exactly what it means. It means that the prices of those products will be per piece. So if you're selling apparel or ball caps, maybe color copy sets, you want to do per each range on that. So and then wide format. So the best thing that I suggest is always just get in here, name something, scroll down to the bottom right away, put in a fixed quantity, and go ahead and put a lot of quantities in there. You can, if you think maybe you're only going to have 10, put 15 or put 25 or put 50. It doesn't matter. What you can't, one thing about this area is you can't change this when you go to the next page. When we update and change this and continue, you won't be able to change this product from a fixed quantity to a per each range, and you won't be able to change that from 50 to 60 because this is going to disappear next time you're on this page. Okay, so that's where the questions come in. That's the number one question you want to ask us and ask yourself is, how do I want to price out this product and the entry points? So let's just put a nominal number in here. Let's do 15 and then go to the next page and see what we have. So this is the second page of 3 for this product. We've named it, we've given it a pricing structure, which is fixed quantities, and we've given it an entry points, which is 15. Boom. That's what the 15 comes in. Now, we have some other tools up here to use if necessary. But right now we're going to look at how to incorporate the paper library with this product. So the paper library is going to work like this. We're on the second page of 3 of this product. We have given it a pricing structure. Now we want to select the papers that are going to be associated with this product. You do that by select paper. And when you select the paper, a pop-up menu is going to come up. This is the same index of papers that we saw in our paper library. Remember when we set up our 100-pound gloss text in a 1925 and we gave it a cost per 1,000 sheets and a markup cost and a weight per 1,000 sheets? These are the same papers that we set up there. That's why I encourage you, if you haven't done the paper library step yet, do that first before you start building out products. Okay, so now we want to choose some of these papers that are going to be associated with this particular product. I'm going to list all of these on my 1925 press sheet size. And you say, well, you know, I'm doing brochures. Maybe I'm doing 250 up to 3,500 on my digital press, and which is 12 by 18. And then I'm going to switch over to my 1925 to go up to quantities of 50,000. And that's fine. You still want to select a larger press sheet size when you're associating these papers with this product. And then when you go in and you do the lower quantities, offer the lower quantities, you're going to consider that when you put the cost in there, you're going to consider that you're starting with a 1925 and you're going to split that sheet basically and do the math that way. So you don't have to put in digital and offset brochures. You can combine the two so that your customer probably doesn't care anyway, and you want to price it out so you have a nice condensed full-blown store. So we've set up these papers, and you will put the paper that you want to show up first here in the sorting order. This is actually going to be the papers that you show on the store, and this is the way they're going to show up. And I'm just going to randomly kind of pick some things here. Do that, update. Once that updates, it's going to close. We close it. So once you've made that paper selection that's going to be the papers associated with this product, go to the first column, click on paper, and here you're going to tell how many up on that parent sheet. So you had a 1925, it's an 8.5 by 11 brochure page, so 4 up on that, and you'll enter in your make readies. So you may, depending on what your make readies are, and how you're going to run them, you could go 1 to 3,500 on your, and just give maybe, you could do 3. That's theoretically, that's what you're going to do for your press. You may have 3 make readies on your digital press. However, you got to consider your other options like your folds or what possibly could happen when a user comes on there and chooses 8.5 by 11 trifold, and you've got to have make readies for that. And other types of options as well. So go ahead and give yourself enough paper there, even on your lower end with your digital side, to not lose money. And you can keep climbing here if you want to depending on the increments that you want to provide. Let's do 5,001 to 10,000, and we'll just put in maybe 485. And it all depends on how good your pressman is too there. So there we've made our make readies, and we made our number up on our sheet. We'll close that window and update it. And when we update it, we see that this column has become green. The paper button is now green, meaning that it has a paper associated with it. In this column, the header column, if you're offering various color options, you may put these color options here, like 4/0 or 4/1 or 4. You just start with 4/0, then the next one you do 4/1, 4/4, and you do the same thing here with your number up and your make ready sheets. Now, of course, you know that running 4/4, you're going to be probably having more make readies than you are on a 4/0. And that's why we've done it this way. So you can be very succinct with your quoting on these products. We don't want you to lose money. We want you to give them the accurate quote that they need for the product, and you want to make money on that. So let's say we're going to start at 250, 500, and 750. And on down. You can go on down. Now remember, if you have only entered 15 entry points, you can't go any further than this. And if you start building this out and you got a big list of prices in here, up to maybe 25,000 or 10,000 or something, and you say, oh, well, geez, I want to go on up to 100,000. You can't do that. So really consider, where do I want to start with my products? And also remember, you don't have to use all these columns. You don't have to use all of these entry points. You can start at 750, and in time go ahead and build up to 10,000 and then 25,000 and then 50. So your entry points can be more than 15. It could be 50, and give yourself room to move as your storefront grows in this product size offering. And it all there too depends on whether or not you can do that type of work. I mean, if you can't print 100,000 or you're farming that out, that's another thing. So we can talk about all those options. I always encourage my customers to really build a very robust store, a big store with a lot of product, a lot of options in there, so you can always offer that customer something. So here we are, we've associated our paper, we have our 4/0 and our 250 quantity. So all you're going to say here is, what is my base cost of this product minus my paper? And we minus our paper. Why? Because we've already costed out our paper in our paper library, and now we've associated that paper with this product. So we've got a cost for our sheets and what they are per 1,000 sheets and the weight and everything. So everything's good to go with our paper. We just need to know, what is my manufacturing cost of 250 8.5 by 11 brochures 4/0, and you enter that price right there. Whatever that may be. Same thing with 500, same thing with 750. You enter the base cost there for that product. Paper's in place, the quantity's in place, your cost is in place, and we're just going to put in something here. Just randomly, whatever these costs may be, and then we're good to go for those three quantities. You update and continue. So in updating, guess what's last? On the third page is our library options, our options for this product. And this is just the whole array of options that you have put into your library of options. And like, for instance, we looked at finishing options, the check boxes. So if you want to make these available for your brochures, go ahead and make those available. They have cost associated with them, so it's going to have an add-on to that base cost that you just put in that product. And let's just leave it at that. Go on down. You can see all these other library options. Getting your head around what the library options do and how you put your cost together on your pricing structure for your product is really the only thing you need to learn well in Rocket, how these things tie in with each other, and it will make sense to you. So let's update and continue. And we have this product now in place. It's in our main store. It's under the brochures, that category that we made. And now we have this 8.5 by 11 brochures in there with pricing and everything associated with it. We can always go in and edit this product, meaning we can change everything about this product except, guess what? The pricing structure. We can't change the pricing structure. So that's the one thing that we really want to think through. How are we going to price out? What is the pricing structure behind my products? How many quantity are we going to be offering? Not just now, but maybe in a year. Do we want to run it on up to 100,000? You'll be able to, because with our job sourcing function, you'll be able to source out those higher quantities if necessary. So there we are. We have our library options. We can drill right back to our libraries and see. Now you see here, this is my 8.5 by 11 brochure, and currently selected library options are my finishing options. That's the only thing I have selected. You can come in here and knock out a few other options as well if you needed to. So there you are. That's setting up products. When we click on these links, it takes us back to our category. We can drill right down to our main category that we built here along with that product, and we can just add another product if we wanted to. Let's say we wanted to modify some of the pricing that is already in your store. Your storefront comes with about 25 categories and about 64 products. So I slipped into another store, just kind of did that, and the reason I did is because this is actually the store that you receive when you go to get your main trial. Here's my 8.5 by 11 brochure. I slip into that product over to the next page, and here you'll see that you'll have some pricing associated with this product. And you say, well, $250 at $92, 4 over 4, that's a little cheap. So what I might want to do is I might want to modify this myself just by simply going in and tweaking these numbers a little bit. Or I can actually go in and change this whole column. So if I had changed that, or maybe I modified this number or any of these numbers, I can also modify this pricing by going in and saying I want to add 25% to that whole column, and then just update that, and it will modify that the prices there. And then from there you kind of tweak them out if you needed to, if there's a few little tweaks in here that you wanted to make. So that's the way, whenever you get your store, you can actually jump right in here, and in about a couple hours with those 64 products, you can modify them according to the prices that you want. Now you say, well, what about my options? Well, your main store comes with some of the most logical options here for your 8.5 by 11 brochure. We have folding, proofing, shrink wrapping, production speed, and we can talk more about what those library options are. But that's the current selection. If you did not want to do that, if you wanted to alter those some, certainly you can take those away, or you can also just slip right into the libraries of options that you have. And as I said, this store that we're looking at now, I kind of toggled over to this store. This is the store that you get whenever you sign up, like production speed. It's a percentage markup or discount in a library. You can slip over there to the production speed and see what they do. It basically, and I don't mean to veer from building out the product, but it is important that you know this. 2-day rush, it may mark it up 30%. 3-day, 25%. Three business days, it may be normal. So what this library is doing is when they make that selection, it's going to actually mark up the product and the library 25%. It's pretty cool, huh? So all of these options that you have in the libraries will actually mean something, either by money, cost, or and in some cases, like in a text library, it really doesn't have any math behind it. But okay, let's slip back over to our products. So I've come back to my demo store, into my 8.5 by 11 brochure. There's my categories. Just always center yourself back here in this area if you need to. So by clicking on your categories, you get right into your categories. You can sort through your categories here. You can drill right into your library of options here. Everything is going to take place right here in setting up your categories, your products, and your library of options. let's add another product. And I encourage you, as I said, to come in and just add products all you want to. And you can just, don't even have to name them. Just scroll down here to the bottom and maybe try your fixed quantities. We did fixed quantities. Let's try your dynamic pricing. And we'll enter in maybe 100 to 2,500 and update and continue. We see here on your second page that the system has actually given you some quantities to price out. So in pricing these quantities out, it will allow your customers to get a quote for anything in between these two numbers. They can get a quote for 101, they can get a quote for 2,126. So what has to happen here, however, is you have to, we can go in here and select our papers for this product, but you have to complete at least one column. So let's go ahead and add our papers in, just like we would normally. Update, updates it, close it, go into your column, tell it how many up. Let's say I might not have saved that. So let's go in and do that and give it a make ready because it is requiring that. And we'll just say 5, close the window. Now we'll update it. And in updating it, we see our papers are associated with that column. Now we would go in and give a cost associated with all of these quantities. And we have to do that because the system is working off, and this will mess it up right here. Of course, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do a 580 quantity at $77 and 820 at $73. So you need to keep those increments going correctly. And the system is actually giving your customers a quote on a curve. So you're starting with 100. You may weigh it, kind of weigh it a little heavier on the front end because that's your setup time for these quantities. And then by the time it gets to 225 or 2020, you're going to have whatever the cost is with that 2020. This is very low. But you'll want to do every single cell here so that the curve fitting software will not break. You don't want to break that curve in giving it to the customer. But I'm going to go ahead to the next page, and here we are in our libraries. Again, just making that selection, these libraries that are associated with this product, and we'll update that. Takes us back to the same place that we were. Let's go back and continue. Update and continue. There we go. So there's my product. Let's add another product. I mean, it's just a lot of fun in here. You can get in here and just hammer away on this. Let's look at another pricing structure. And the reason I'm showing you these pricing structures is because this is the most critical part of it. And let's just do 25 entry points, update and continue. Now we see what the spreadsheet is doing for us. It's giving us a range of maybe 1 to 500, whatever this product is. Let's say it's color copies, and we may be doing 7 cents a piece at under 500, and then 500 to 1,000. We may do these color copies at 675, something like this. That number is going to be times whatever they order. If they order 621 of these, then it's going to 621 times this. And that's the way the per each works. And the same thing would happen with your paper library. First off, you go in, choose your papers, choose your column, make your number up. This is the way you're going to basically handle your catalogs and booklets and things of that nature if you use the per each range. Then we'll update that and continue. There's our libraries again. So we just make a selection for the libraries. Let's do another one. Let's continue on. So we've got a couple of products in there. No worries. Go ahead, build out all you want to. Have fun with it. You might actually put a name in here just in case you want to. It's under brochures, so it could be your 9x11 brochure. Whatever you want to say there. Some of these other areas we're going to cover, but they're very simple. They're very simple. This is very simple stuff here. Run your cursor over these question marks if you want to have any questions answered as to what you're looking at here. Track inventory for this item. Pretty simple to understand. Check this box if you will be displaying an inventory level for this product on the storefront. Check it. Give it an inventory level if you have inventory on this product, maybe 12,000. Low level inventory, 250. When it reaches that, someone's email address in your company or multiple email addresses would be entered here, and it tells you there. And these people are going to receive emails when this quantity gets below 250. Very simple stuff. If I don't want to track it any longer, I just deselect that, keep all that in order. So like I said, we'll cover this. Let's go on down here where the main part is, your pricing structure. We've looked at fixed quantities, dynamic pricing, which is the number of minimum, maximum, get a quote for anything in between there. Per each range allows your user to actually enter the quantity that they want, but it gives them a cost per each. Very simple stuff. And then the wide format based on a square foot method. Let's enter that one. Build this one out. Build as many as you want. The thing is, you can keep everything you do here, but I insist that you explore all of these pricing structures and kind of what they do, what they look like. Toggle back to your storefront preview, look at those products on the store, how the calculator's operating, how your options look, and in 30 minutes you can have your head around this stuff. So we got a 9x11, I don't know what that means. It would probably be a banner. Wide format pricing, square foot pricing instructions. So we have some instructions here, an example, and basically this is what it is. You may have a setup charge for your wide format. If you do, put it in there. You may want to round up those nearest whole square foot. If you want to, do it there. Check that box and it'll round up that number that they receive. So what are these boxes? This is the box that you start with 2. 2 meaning what? 2 square feet. 2 through 5. And the cost of 2 through 5, let's say whatever that is may be contingent on your media. So let's put in canvas in here. Let's say you're doing some canvas chiclets, or it could be a vinyl, could be 8mm vinyl, 10mm vinyl, whatever your media is there. And you can scroll across here. This will give you this many entries to enter the square foot. And up here it can be all of your medias that you want. And in so, you maybe canvas your 2 square feet through 5 square feet, then it's going to be $4.50 a square foot. It's that simple. $4.50 a square foot. Whenever your user enters in a dimension that equals anything in between 2 and 5 square feet, it's going to multiply this number times that square footage. And same thing, you keep moving here. You go 6 through 10, and it may be a little bit less. It all depends on what you're selling, what you're doing there. I only entered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entry points. Not very many. So I don't really have any place to go past this. And in a lot of cases, you know, your numbers may look more like this. 2 through 50 square feet is going to be $4.50, and then 51 through 250 is going to be whatever that is. So you get the point. What you understand here is that this price, $4.50, is going to be times whatever square foot that your customer enters. Okay, let's see what your customer is confronted with on the front end of the store, and we'll look at the demo store here. Let's trip over here to the banners, and in looking at our banners, and this is what they have to look at. Here's your media, and here's your dimensions. So you may be entering a dimension here for a banner, and you can get a quote for that, and there's your price right there. So it's $12, and for this square footage, it's going to be this amount of money. And we can up that. We can add a little border to this if we needed to. Get a price for that. It's going to change that automatically. Add some grommets to that, top and bottom. There may be some cost associated with those grommets. There may not be. Doesn't look like there is. Finishing has some finishing. There is cost associated with that, so that's modifying a little bit. Maybe we want to order 3 of them, and you can get a price for 3 of them. It's still the same unit price. So this is your wide format calculator, and this is how you set up that wide format calculator. So we have that. We have our quantity discount tables. That may mean that if they order more than between 5 and 10, you may be giving them a 5% discount, something like that. If it's they order 11 through 20 of these items, then you may give them an 8% discount, or whatever you want to offer there. You can do that on down the list. Over here on the right are your control limits. So basically, if you don't want to do anything less than a foot, and you obviously started with 2 feet here, so you don't want to do, they can't enter anything that would be a square foot. Have to be at least 2 square feet. Then you put those dimensions here. You put those parameters here. So my maximum square feet are this. And what you're doing this for Rocket, and you're telling Rocket what you want to do here, and then you enter basically the same information in this text box, because you're telling the customer that whenever they enter something that's less or more than what you're offering, it will give them this text message. So it's going to basically, this text message is going to reiterate what you're telling the system that you want to do right here. Okay, and then you can increase the range for picture framing. If you click that button, it will give them this additional border to the image, and so they can, if you're doing chiclets, we have printers that do that and need that, and then just make that required as well. If you're going to offer that, and you definitely need to have a border range on that, then you can make that required. That's what that is, and the pop-up details go right there. So we're looking at the pricing structure for the products on a square foot method. Let's go ahead and update and continue. Guess what's the last page? Yes, the libraries. So you have libraries that are associated with your wide format, and of course that's why we want to set up our libraries first, our paper libraries and our regular optional libraries. So when we get to the categories and we drill down to our products, we're going to already have the libraries in place to knock those out. Okay, so add as many products as you want to. Kind of pick out something, add a product, and keep going with it. Now, as we look at the first page of this product sheet, let's review some of the other functions that we have in building out these products. Remember, we're looking at our B2C store. We're putting our categories, our products, and the library options for those products in place. We're here on the first page of our products, and we want to name that product. It might have a SKU number associated with it. A lot of times on your B2C side, it will not, because it's just it's kind of what we call an ad hoc product that you're selling, and you got this thing on your website. You want to sell in every part of the country or world, and so you might not have a SKU number associated with it. Your business to business portal, you may have a SKU number there that's associating some flyers or some sales sheets with the corporation that you're working with. So, but irregardless, you're doing the same thing over and over on the same pages, whether it's your B2C or your B2B. Okay, so here's our data merge item. If it's a variable data template, you click on that link and it will give you the templates that you have set up for that product, and that's really where we're going to talk about this whenever we get to our B2B setup. You have a static file. Static files are also good for the business-to-business portals, because this static file is the actual file that you're going to be printing. That static file will be there available for your press department. So it may be some flyers that you're inventorying. You may be just printing some shells for business cards. This may be the static file that they're pulling from the order. Description boxes. You have description boxes here that will show up on your calculator, and running your cursor over this question mark will show you where that description is going to show up. Additional text for the calculator. Header. The footer for the calculator page. Each product can have its own look and feel for the calculator page. I'm not saying that the calculator can be in different places. You want to set the field schema, or the schema of the calculator page, you want to set that up in another location in the store. But once you've set that up, it will be the same for your main store or your portals. So in this case, we see there's 6 zones. There's the top header, the bottom footer that we're looking at, and then there's 4 zones inside there, a quad, so that there's actually 6 zones that you can utilize. Other things on this product, you may have approver processes. Check that box, enter the email of the person who's going to be approving. There too, you're not going to really have this on your B2C side, but this is kind of a preview of the B2B when we get to it. Tax exempt, this product may be tax exempt. Tracking inventory, we looked at that a little earlier. An image to represent the product, and even a larger image to represent some other, maybe that product or maybe something associated with that product, like folds or borders or whatever it may be. And you can actually name that link whatever you want to name it. If you want to name it something else, so that view the folds, then that's the link that pops up on the demo store. I'll change this back to view larger. Display project name in the field. Typically you may or may not do that with your B2C store, because you know, a lot of times project names will be for people who are ordering cards for someone else in a corporation. But you can display that project name if you want to on your main store. And other email button in the cart, that's typically for a portal, so that the user can actually email that order out to someone else, along with a link to the preview of the variable data template. Hiding the calculator on this product, you may do that, not on your B2C store, not typically. You want people to get a quote and place an order. But then template gallery activity, that's something represented on your B2C side, because you're going to have these templates associated with brochures and postcards and business cards on your B2C side. And what happens here is you check this, you select template gallery category, a window pops up, and if this is flyers or brochures, you can choose the brochures and flyers. And in doing so, it's going to give your customers the opportunity to choose from some of the backgrounds that we have in template gallery and to edit them online. So this is actually very applicable for your B2C. Actually, it's more applicable for B2C than it is B2B. So that's the way that works. And then you come in, make your quantity selections, and maybe give it 25 entry points. Go to the next page, page 2. After you've put in your paper selections here again, just to kind of show you that, papers pop up. Make that paper selection for the paper library that you've set up for this product. Update it. Close it. Now come into your column here. Tell how many up. This is brochures and your make readies. If you don't put make readies in here, this will not be activated. And close that window and update. So once you've updated, the button turns green. That means there's a paper associated with this product, and then you enter your quantities along with your pricing. Update and continue. There's your library options there again. Choose the ones that are going to be applicable for this product. Save them and update. That's the product that we did. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 products. You could do this in like moments. So I encourage you to go in. Once you've got maybe your 8.5 by 11 brochures in the pricing structure that you want to, you may want to even duplicate that product. It's going to duplicate everything that you've done for that product, including the cost, and you may slip in here to the libraries and take away folds or something. Come back in and call this your 8.5 by 11 flyers. It's the same thing, flyers and brochures, same thing. And then continue to the next page and on to the following page. And here we would deselect maybe your folds so that you wouldn't be offering folds for that. Shrink wrapping, fine. not 3-hole drill, but the lamination, shrink wrap, and UV on one side. You might want to do in a library in this item here as a UV one side and give it a cost. And then you can associate that with your flyers. I know there'll be more questions as you move forward in setting up your categories and products, not only for your main store, but for your portals. Certainly give us an email or contact us in regards to any questions you may have. Now let's look at setting up our B2B, our business-to-business portals. Primarily, it will function the same way as setting up your main store, except you're assigning the categories and products to a specific portal. So what you would want to do is go to your customer portal area and form the portal that you're going to start with. So you're going to have one open portal in your storefront when you get it. So, and you can form as many portals as you want. Just simply give it a name and a code. And I'm gonna put a AAA there beside that so it shows up here at the top. And now I have that portal in place. So there's some controls here that you have with your portals. These portals are like standalone storefronts. You can modify the controls that are in this portal, setting up specific email responses here to this portal. You can modify the pricing, the shipping, delivery options, your payment options here, and of course the homepage image would be distinct to this portal. So there's a lot of controls here. You just toggle back and forth from this area here, your portals. Here is your categories that are already set up on your store. So if you wanted to just simply set up a portal and assign some of the categories that are already on your store to that portal, you can do that by checking this box. And now you have these two categories that's going to show up on this portal. We can talk more about the strategy behind that and what you would do with a portal where you assign the categories. But overall, when you set up a portal, your objective is setting this up for an existing customer that you're going to have very specific products in place for them. So that's your intention, really. Set this portal up and then go over to your Format 2 area in order to put products and categories into that specific portal. So what I did is I came over to Format 2 into my categories where I have my main category area. Then I'll add a category and I'm going to assign this category to a specific portal, the portal that I just set up. Now my category may be brochures, of course, or anything there, and there too we want to do that nickname so that this is the AA name portal. Actually, you can just abbreviate some of this information just so you get it all in, something like that. It doesn't really matter. It's just something that you need to identify there with this nickname. Could be a parent category. You don't have to use the same parent categories that you do on your B2C store or any other portals. You can name other categories. In fact, you can name similar categories to what you have here, or you can utilize the parent categories that you have here and put this category in it. Even though digital products may not be in this portal, it will still show up in that portal if you place brochures underneath there. So you can utilize these parent categories in multiple portals. There's no real reason why they won't show up for every portal. So here we are in the categories, same thing that we did before, and you're going in and scrolling down to the bottom. You're going to tell whether or not you want the products in a grid layout or not. Also, we didn't talk about this in the B2C side, but content pages, you can actually have a no product in this content page, and then here in your description you can go in and write information, and this is going to show up on this category. So there's a lot of strategy behind making a category and putting content in there, or putting images. Maybe you want to do your whole layout on the portal a little bit differently, where you can do a content only page, put a description here along with some thumbnails and go directly to the products. So we can talk about the different strategies there. Also, you can hide this category. So in essence, you could have information in that description box, hide this category, and link back to this category somewhere on your store. So there's just more than one way you can present these categories if necessary, hide them. There's a lot of variety there and options that you can do. Just ask us about that. So we'll just save this category, and we've saved it inside this portal. Now we want to go in and create our products for this portal. Add a product. This is going to be the same thing that you saw before on the B2C side in the categories, products, and the paper options. All of those things are going to be the same here. What we want to do is make sure that we have all of our libraries in place for our portal products. You may have something very specific for your portal products, shrink wrapping or boxing. There's no way to know exactly what your customers are going to need or what you may need, but you'll be able to do it here in Rocket. That's your libraries, your paper library here. Back to this category, going to drill down to this portal. There's that category. Let's go in and set up a new product. And this is going to be my new product. We can call it or say whatever it is. Maybe it's a flyer, sales sheet, or some sort of sales sheet for this corporation. Maybe it's a variable data template. If it is, then the last step in setting up your Data Merge Pro will be right here in variable data templates. And you click that link. One of these templates will be assigned to that product. And these are templates that you have developed, that you have started with a print ready PDF, and you take it through the steps of Data Merge Pro to make the template behave the way that you want it to. And that information will give you some training on that when it's time. So there's a description box for this product. Scroll on down to the bottom, we'll get here to approval processes. We discussed this earlier, where you're where you are assigning an approver for this product. So you'd enter the email of this person. Now it says here, user's account should be created before entering them as an approver. So before you start adding email addresses to this approver, we need to create an account for them in the store. And so we can talk a little bit about how to do that. Secondary approver, you got the secondary or final approver here. An email address would go there, and there too that a person needs to have created an account. Typically, you can create that account for them. And also through our workflow program, you can actually upload all of your customer database through a spreadsheet. So we'll look at that just in a moment. Tracking inventory may be very plausible here for these portal products. You could hide inventory from the storefront if your corporate customer says, well, we don't want to show inventory, but yet it needs to be seen by you. You can hide it from the store. Enter the inventory amount here and the low-level inventory for this product, and put an email address of someone either internally or sometimes your corporation, your customer may want to know when this product goes out of inventory. So we can do that. You have an image to upload to represent that product. It's just simply a JPEG. Can be a JPEG just to show what that product's like. And then let's come down here. We don't typically have template gallery templates associated with B2B portals. In time, that may become more applicable for it as we modify and change the template gallery system. So choose your pricing structure. Remember, you have fixed quantities, dynamic, per each range, a wide format, depending on what this product is, and give it an entry point. As many as you need. Typically with portal products there too, you don't have a lot of quantities. They will ask for maybe 3 to 5, maybe 10 quantity levels, and then you just enter these in. You actually don't typically use a paper library for these portal products. because you know what paper it's going to be printed on. They know what paper it's going to be printed on. So a lot of times these portals, especially the static products like this, it'll just be a quantity, maybe not even a price. You know, it all depends on if your customer needs a price displayed on the store. You don't have to put a price here, and you don't have to put anything here in the header. So in essence, all they're really doing, all the users will be doing, is choosing a quantity and checking out. There too, if you do not use the paper library, very important, do not use the paper library. You will need to, if you're going to calculate shipping, you need to come in here and give a weight per piece of this product, whatever it is. If it's a brochure, you want to, it's the weight of one brochure, and the system will do the math around that and then combine that with the integration with FedEx or UPS, so to get your shipping quote. And update and continue. The last page there will be your library of options, which again, a lot of these portal products don't have a lot of options associated with them. It's not to say that they can't, but in most instances. So we'll continue, update and continue, and that's actually it in building a static product. You can do it in just a couple of minutes if you have a thumbnail possibly for that product. And so that product's done. If you wanted to go up and test that link, you can test it, and it pulls up your main store. There's your quantity structures, and there's your price. Everything's pretty good. There's your stock. I did not have a thumbnail for it. We'll go back to the account manager, and that's the way you set up products for your portal. So again, working through the customer portal area, you'll name a portal to get that in place, and then go over to your categories and your products, and you'll enter in those products for that portal. Hi, we're nearing the end of this training session, and I wanted to encourage you here on the Account Manager to go in and create your account. If you click on your preview store, you can go into your storefront here and create your account right here. And then that will give you the opportunity to really run the gamut between placing an order on the store and then coming back into the order processing to process those orders. Here on the order processing, you will see some other secondary links here. You will land, it defaults on the unprocessed orders, so that's what you have in place, and this is the way it would look when your store is up and rolling. You will have your order numbers here, and it will show whether or not it's in your main store or on a portal. Also, you see various statuses here that we can review later. And there's the order. If there's no project name, it reverts to the item name. So it's either the project name or the item name. Again, we have some other links. This is where you're going to find your general file upload. If someone uses the online FTP system up front, you'll find the files here. Order reporting will allow you to pull your own reports, view all of your users on your portal and your main store. And then your order activity can be sorted by portal, by product, or by customer. Inventory controls will show you the products that you have in inventory, and you're able to edit these if necessary. And then your forms will be it's from your form builder actually. If you go over to your storefront admin, you have your form builder, which allows you to build out as many custom quote forms as you would like, both for your store, for your portals. You can put them on categories, or you can assign them to the top part of your storefront where you have your custom quotes. So custom quotes are a good way for you to get and keep people on your store, even if they can't find what they're looking for. So in the order processing area, let's just simply choose a product here. The 22097, we see this is the details about the order. It also tells where it's ordered from, which portal. It has the product itself and the cost. It also has a little area down here. This is where you begin workflow, which we'll talk about later. But in workflow, you'll be able to set up your own departments, your sub-departments, do that. Sub-departments here, your CSRs, so you can assign this product right away into your workflow, choose when it's due, and then you can update it. And when you do, it turns yellow, meaning that order has now been placed in workflow. And getting to workflow, you would simply toggle back up here in this link, which we'll talk about that. Of course, it's really simple to understand, so when you get there, you can move this order around to the different departments. Also here in this order, we see our shipping and billing information. If you had a credit card information, it would be here. You can see all of the details about the cost of the order. You can upload soft proofs here back to the customer, and it will change the status of this order to proofing until they approve it or decline it, and then it will alter that status at that point. There's certain work ticket instructions that can go here. Ship date, the press that you're using. Email, this is an email, kind of a one-way email street where you can email back to the customer, choose whom it's coming from, email back to the customer, and when they respond, they'll respond back to that email address. Also, in regards to this area, you'll be able to mark the order as a problem order, or you can mark it as processed here. So this is where you kind of complete that order. If you wanted to delete the orders, maybe the sample orders that you had put into play, you can do that right down there, permanently delete the order. This is what we call the order details, and you can start your workflow right here into this system. You can also customize your work ticket here and print out a packing slip. So that concludes the tutorial here with the account manager. This is your basically your initial setup tutorial, and we went through setting up your products and categories and libraries. We went through setting up a little bit on your customer portals and then processing orders. So once you get some of those products in place, go in, create an account, and run that circle. You can do it in like two minutes or less. Place an order on the store, file upload, come here to the order processing, and then process that order through. Give us a call, contact us with any questions, and we'll be in touch with you for future training. Thanks for joining me. With Rocket Print Software, this is Gil Newsom, and we'll talk with you soon. Thank you.